Hey there, folks. Let's go to CSSBattle.dev and do the daily target. Something I do basically every day. Let's do it. Oh ho 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 ho. Okay. I think I know what this is. I think this is no elements and just the body, no margins, and two gradients. Let's do it. Radial gradient first. And we're going to do it at 40 pixels, 50 pixels or something. And then it's going to be the light color. 20 pixels. And then this purple color. And then we need a 1Q or circle. And then now we're going to put this where we want it. 40. 40 is too far over. How about 30? How about 35? Something like that. And then down 100. 30, 40, 50. Great. That's with a background position of 0, 0. If I make that 100 pixels wide, the background, it almost matches. How about 110? How about 110? 110 is correct. All right, now that I have the size, I can get rid of this at, and then change the horizontal position 10 pixels. How about minus 10 pixels or minus 20 pixels? Boom, done. Great. So now I need that little dash. So we're going to make that transparent. So we just see the circles. And then this will be a conic gradient, which will have an at value of that narrow strip, which will be like, what, 40 pixels wide and then like 10 pixels down. And then green is predominant there, 75%. And then it's this little light color again, 0. And that's the color stop. And then we move it. We go 100 pixels over, 50 pixels over, and then down 140 pixels or something. How about 60, 70, and 150. No, we're in the ballpark. Not quite. How about 65 over? That's the background position X. And then Y is 145. And then it's a little wider than that. Make it 50 wide. Then we need to give this a width. Is it 110 pixels? Oh, and look what that does. We just get a little bit of error when we do that, don't we? So how do we fix it? I think the way we fix it make that transparent. Boom. And then we do another linear gradient. Linear gradient, which is this color, which cut 90 degrees. That color, 10%. And then the white color, 0, 0, and then 90%, something like that. Maybe 80, 90, and 1, something like that. So what do? That gradient is very specific. I'm going to comment that out and show you what I just made. I just made that. Right? This is a terse syntax to do a linear gradient that's green, then this inner color, whatever. And then that we converted these to be all transparent like that. So now that's transparent. And actually, do we want this then to be something different? Do we? No, because that covers that. Because this is the kind of gradient is the thing that really gets us. So let's submit. I think we're done. I think we did it. Yeah. Great. Okay. We're going to minify and unit replace, and then we'll do it another way. One more way. Okay, so this is fine. It's certainly a way to do it. I am partial to creating a circle. So we're going to set the background to this, and we're going to set color to this. And then we need what? We'll leave the background pink, and say for the first one we'll do a rectangle. And then margin is, so the height is like 10. And then the margin is whatever we need to do to make that rectangle 100, 180, 170. Maybe it's 165, 67. So we created that shape, and we need another one. We're going to need a circle. So P plus P. So Joe, you were thinking, what is Joe doing? Border radius, 50% is the second one. And his margins are 0, minus 50, 100, we just need a circle, right? Height, and I need a semicolon there. Height of, what do we say? Some number. So there's our little circle. But we need to make a perfect circle, right? So we need more margin here, 170. That could be right. How about 172? We're just going to go with the instinct there. And the reason for that weird offset is... What's the reason for the weird offset? The reason for the weird offset is because the default margins on a body, which we're doing no margins there, are 8 pixels. And that's has this impact on how things go. I can go ahead and make that an ampersand and get the same results. All right, so now we need box shadows. So our box shadows are what? Box shadow is minus 20 pixels, 0. Oh, minus 30 pixels. Actually, we want 0, 0. Okay. And you'll notice we're getting both of them. We don't really want both of them. 22. But that's okay, because we're going to do different box shadows for the circles. So now we want 100 pixels minus 22 pixels. And then minus 100 pixels minus 22 pixels. How about 110? Boom. And now we have those dashes, and we don't need the background pink on this guy. So I'll put it on this guy. Boom. And that almost works. Is there anything we can reuse? If we did, so because they're at the same interval, if I do a translate minus 50 pixels and then minus 80 pixels, ooh, that kind of works. Kind of works. Now, if I remove this background, am I screwed? Maybe. Yeah, I kind of am screwed because of the way I did it. Unless I change the margins on this guy. So let's make that less. 6, 7, margin 7. Yeah, I'm still going to have that same problem. I'm going to have that same problem because of how I'm doing that. I think that's fine. I think what that means is I'm not going to do this translate. Nope, not going to do it. And instead, I'm going to do a box shadow, the 4 box shadows that I need. And okay, so the first one, so was it 0 minus 22? So we need to go 1, 22, 3, 4, 5, 4, 40, 50, 45, and then 60, 55. Almost a match. How about a little more vertically or less? 4. There it is. Okay. So now we know our level is minus 144. Oops, 144. And we need another one. 0 minus 144. All right. And then we don't need this pink anymore. Nope. But we do need to put things in the correct place. So this one's correct. This one needs to be like minus. All right, so which one is wrong? That one's right. So this needs to go further that way. 7, 160, 165. And if symmetry means anything, this is probably what? 55, and then 165. Yeah. So that is my second technique for this guy. And that's the raw technique. Folks, leave comments about, hey, you could have changed the units and shaved off more characters. Yes, correct. I know that. You don't have to leave it. I mean, you can leave a comment, but I know. I do know that. But it is, you know, if you sharing, it's great. But it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm not going to, oh, I should have. Look, I know. Yeah. You can spend a lot of times on this. Unit replace, minify, submit. And, you know, that's the name of the game. It's code golf. Make it as short as possible, have as much fun as possible, and make that shape. So let's see. Any other changes we would make on this guy? No, I think that's pretty much how we would do it. I don't think that we can get rid of the spaces before the minus, and some of these values reduce, but they kind of don't. Not really, not super well. There are probably different numbers that would be a little bit shorter that you could gain, but this is pretty much how to go. Is this one of those cases where if I do a var s and put it around it, plonk, and I just added 1, 2, 3, 5 characters, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters, and is that better with here like that? Does that give you a better score? I think this is a case where it does, just by like 2 characters or something. Not a lot. Not yeah, it's not. It's no change in the score. You know, you can do cheap stuff like remove the final brace. You know. Ultimately, though, it's about solving the puzzle, matching that pixel for pixel at 100%. That's the real goal. That's my real goal with these. It's not the absolute best score. Sometimes I'll explore and try to go a little deeper, but you know, once I've done it, I've done it, and I have done it today. Hope you're having a good day out there. It continues to be a rough time for a lot of people out there. Be good to yourself, be good to each other. Go make a webpage.